To optimize the camera for a landscape scene is very simple. You may want to set the landscape scene mode. However, for more control over camera functions, you'll want to use the Aperture Priority mode instead. You'll want to set the ISO, the white balance, and if you're using a tripod, you'll want to set the timer mode. Let's start by setting the landscape scene mode. Turn the mode dial to the landscape icon right here. What this mode does is try to set the smallest aperture possible given the amount of available light. With landscapes, you want all of the scene in focus, and by choosing the smallest aperture possible, that's what's being accomplished. However, by using this mode, you don't have control over things like white balance, and I personally feel by setting the white balance, you'll get better color quality. For more control, let's go ahead and set the Aperture Priority mode instead. Turn the mode dial to AV. This stands for aperture value and allows you to set the aperture setting while the camera chooses the appropriate shutter speed. Just because a smaller aperture will get more of the scene in focus doesn't necessarily mean you want the smallest aperture possible. So I'm going to use my main dial at the top of the camera to change this to f16. Now let's go ahead and set the ISO. Press the ISO button right here at the top of the camera and use the navigation buttons to choose the ISO you want. I'm going to set this to 100 and press set. The reason why I've chosen 100 is because I'm assuming there's a lot of light in your scene. With so much light, you can afford a low ISO setting to maintain the smoothest image possible. Now let's go ahead and set the white balance. Press the up navigation button or the WB button right here, and with your navigation buttons, choose the appropriate white balance. If you want to warm up the tones in the image a bit, you can choose cloudy or shade. I'll go ahead and choose daylight for this demo. Press set to escape. Now with everything properly set, I can go ahead and compose the image and take the shot. If, however, you're using a tripod, you can set the timer mode. This will keep the camera even more still. To set the timer mode, go ahead and press the drive mode button right here, and then use the navigation buttons to select the 2-second timer. Then press set. The reason why I've chosen the 2-second timer is because this allows you to release the camera, giving it enough time to stop shaking before the picture is taken. Now with your camera set up, compose the image the way you want it, press the shutter button halfway to lock focus, and then the rest of the way to activate the 2-second timer. Gently release the camera, giving it those 2 seconds to stop shaking before the picture is taken.